So the House of Representatives just approved a new increase in the amount of ethanol that will be put into gasoline across America. Now, this hasn't yet been approved by the Senate, hasn't been signed into law, but it would increase the ethanol to 15%, more than the 10%, which is already insane. This is already damaging combustion engines all across the country. In case you don't know this, if you put ethanol into gasoline, it causes a hardening of the gaskets that are, in your engine and other areas of your vehicle that the fuel comes into contact with, the fuel supply lines, etc. It causes a hardening, which makes the gaskets very fragile, which causes them to fail, of course. So engine failures and gasket failures are a result of putting ethanol into the fuel. And those of you who have, let's say, gasoline-powered lawnmowers, if you have a gasoline-powered lawnmower and you put this ethanol crap into your lawnmower engine, then you know what happens. Or a chainsaw engine. It ruins the motor. It ruins the engine. And that's why people seek out ethanol-free fuels. And at some gas stations, you can pay extra and you can get ethanol-free gasoline. And a lot of people are doing that on purpose simply because they want to protect their engines from that garbage, right? That makes perfect sense. But now the House wants to boost that up to 15%, which means they're going to increase the concentration of ethanol in your gasoline by 50% over its current levels, right? Going from 10% to 15% is a 50% increase. And what that means is they are destroying combustion engines. Now, they are doing this, my understanding is they are doing this to try to ease the fuel shortages that they know are coming because of the war with Iran and the closure of the Strait of Hormuz, and the fact that the United States can't produce all the oil of the right kind that it needs domestically. That's why the U.S. imports 6 million barrels per day of the heavier crude oils in order to make the heavier fuels, which typically includes, diesel. Gasoline is more of a lighter fuel. But there will also be some shortages, not a wipeout, but some pressures of shortages of gasoline because of refinery operations and the transportation and other logistics problems. So they're trying to ease the gas prices by stuffing more corn into your gas tank via ethanol, which will only ruin your gasoline engine. Seriously. And, that's somebody else's problem, they'll say. But, of course, the car makers are incensed by this because they know what happens to their car engines when you feed it a bunch of ethanol. Things go very badly. They know that. So what can you do to bypass this? Well, number one, you could drive an EV. And more people are going to EVs. And now it makes a lot of sense because, number one, the fuel prices of gas and diesel are ridiculously high, and the future for fossil fuels doesn't look very good. This war with Iran doesn't have any kind of obvious, easy solution that we can see. It looks like it could go on for a very long time, and it looks like oil prices and oil supplies the supplies could be restricted, but the prices could be much higher for many years to come. So that's one thing. And the fact that the strait is closed puts pressure on everybody who owns a gasoline combustion engine vehicle. You always have to keep going back to the gas station and filling up again. With the EV, you don't have to do that. And you can charge at home. And it's also about 1/3 the price to operate overall, sometimes even lower than 1/3. It's much cheaper due to gas prices being very high right now. Secondly, the battery technology that's now deployed in EVs is much improved over where it was even 3 years ago. And in 2 more years, it's going to be breakthrough. It's going to be amazing because CATL, C-A-T-L, has just announced a sodium ion. Oh, I'm sorry. Wait, it's Gotion. G-O-T-I-O-N. Gotion High Tech announced a breakthrough sodium ion battery, while CATL has what they call their Nextra, which is a lithium iron phosphate chemistry. I think that's what it is. That is also breakthrough with very high charge rate tolerance, automatic BMS, temperature management, etc. But Goshen has these sodium-ion batteries that are extraordinary, and they're going into production later this year, and they specifically have modules that will be used in vehicles, and I think that will happen in the 2028 vehicle year. That is, calendar 2028. So those will be the 2029 vehicles will have those batteries. Now, that's going to be a game changer. In many ways, that will make combustion engines just obsolete for most vehicles, including a lot of semi-trucking on the highways and things like that. Really, I've done a whole podcast on those batteries. They're the Goshen batteries in particular. And some of them support 20,000 charge-discharge cycles. 20,000! That's a lifetime, folks. If you charge it every day, lasts 60 years, okay? You can't compete with that with combustion engines. So as Congress is destroying combustion engines, China is innovating new battery technology that makes combustion engines obsolete. All right. Now, the other thing you can do if you don't like that whole thing, if you don't like EVs, you can go with diesel. You can get yourself a diesel vehicle, and you can actually store diesel locally rather safely with a UL-approved storage tank. Double-walled tank with ventilation, etc. Get a proper tank if you're going to do that, obviously. But I've done that. Many people have done that. And then if you have other farm equipment, a tractor, let's say, you can share the same diesel supply between your car or your diesel truck and your tractor or whatever else you have, maybe a skid steer or something else, or a mini excavator, things like that. So that's also a smart way to do it too. And many people are choosing diesel vehicles for this very reason, even though diesel itself is going up in price substantially. It's very expensive now. It's almost $6 a gallon on average. And it's probably going to go to 10. I'll cover that later. But that's just another option. Personally, I think more people are going to choose EVs right now if they don't have stored diesel or if they don't like diesel engines or whatever. And that's why EV sales are really skyrocketing among some brands in the United States. And Canada is about to welcome Chinese companies like BYD and CATL to import Chinese cars into Canada. So Canada is going to be flooded with high quality but low cost Chinese-made EVs that will make transportation much more affordable for the Canadian people. In the U.S., we will probably never allow those because the government wants to protect Ford and maybe Tesla and whoever else against Chinese competition. So that's the recap for today. Congress is trying to destroy your combustion engine. China is innovating new battery technology. And diesel is going to get very expensive in America and quite scarce in the months ahead if the Strait of Hormuz stays closed. So I'll keep you posted. You can follow my work at brightvideos.com. Be sure to check out my affiliate deals page called rangerdeals.com. We've got a lot of affiliate deals there where you can save 10 or 15%, usually by using discount code RANGER, on everything from de-Googled phones to therapeutic peptides. You can also find links to our gold suppliers there, Battalion Metals, as well as Goldbacks, and many other links there, even for discounts from Shield Arms on firearms magazines and firearms themselves, custom Glocks, etc. You can find all that at rangerdeals.com. And thanks for listening. I'm Mike Adams. Take care.
Stock up on the long-term storable Ranger Bucket Set. 536 servings of clean organic superfoods for your survival pantry. Certified organic and lab-tested for purity. Order now at healthrangerstore.com.